Good afternoon, artists of all ages. Today we are going to start that animal portrait with our nature tools and textures. As you can see in front of me, I have this wonderful fast drawing that I made of an owl. Please choose a piece of paper here or maybe a piece of cardboard at home to create these animals on. That way you have a sturdy surface. But today what I have is a white sheet of paper so you are able to see these clearly. When you draw your animal onto your cardboard or piece of paper, please make sure you just draw a simple outline. Notice how I did not include a lot of the feathers. I just drew the outline of the bird, and I included the different things that I needed to see for my textures. So I included the eyeballs and the beak, as well as the little tufts of fur that come out of the owl's head. So I'll go ahead and put this down. You'll need a pencil when you draw this, of course. That way you can erase if you make any mistakes. But the important part here is that we have our forged materials, meaning we went out into nature and grabbed a whole bunch of things. Here in particular, I have a marigold flower. I have a couple of acorns, a couple of sticks here, and other leaves. You will most definitely need more materials than this, but I am just going to show you how to start this project and hopefully be able to finish this at another time. In order to glue your pieces down, you may either use regular Elmer's glue here or any type of liquid glue. It will take a lot longer for your stuff to dry onto your drawing, but this is usable. However, if you have a hot glue gun at home, you may use the hot glue gun as long as you are being careful not to burn yourself. So this is where I'm going to start. And you may use scissors as well if you need to cut things along as we go through this process. So I myself am going to grab a pair of scissors so I can cut down my marigold. I'm going to use my marigold for the eyeball here simply because my owl's eye is yellow. So I want to make sure that I put that right on there. I'm going to go ahead and take this nice glue here and add some hot glue. And then stick my eyeball on there. Does it have to be perfect? Goodness, no. But I'm going to paste that guy down. Ooh, it's a little smelly. We also got a little bit of bugs in there. The next thing I'm going to use, I'm looking at a colored photo of my owl. So I'm just looking right over at my computer there with a colored picture. I'm going to make sure I do that as well with this as well as I go along. I'm going to add some hot glue in the middle of my flower because the middle of my owl's eye is dark. So let's go ahead here and stick that in the middle of the eyeball, and that's the dark part. I may also want to add a couple of leaves here and there. My owl does have a lot of texture in it, so I'm going to go in and possibly, let's see, I'm going to use these feathers on the side here to kind of fill him in a little bit. So this might take just a little bit of time. And you can make sure that you layer things on top of each other as well. Being very careful again with that hot glue gun. It can get very hot. And see how those leaves start to create a nice texture for my owl. So I'm going to continue this and fill it in just a little more before I switch over to something different. And you can find these sort of materials just walking around your neighborhood. It is fall time, so a lot of the leaves that you find are going to be very colorful as well as very crunchy. So if you're going to use leaves, please be sure that you're not crushing them all up completely. Otherwise, that's going to make it a hard time for you when it comes to gluing these down. Make sure they're not too crunchy. And again, be very careful when you glue things down, especially if you are using the hot glue. For the beak itself, I might actually just end up using some sticks here. That seems to be a pretty doable thing. Well, made it too big. If you need help cutting, please be sure to ask someone around you who is a little more equipped to glue things down in this manner and cut things down in this manner. I might want to trim that down just a little more. I have some really sharp scissors with me today. And again, you just want to make sure you're super careful when you're doing this. I'm going to add a little twiggy guy in the middle here so it doesn't look like he's got an empty spot on his beak. And you can fill in areas like that. We are just focusing on following our drawing and filling in those empty spaces. Notice how things start to come together as we are adding things along. And I might actually go out and look for some more little feathers as we work along here. But there is a portion of my owl starting to come along nicely. Again, if you have cardboard at home, I would use cardboard for the backing. But if you have paper, that is fine to use as well. You may use regular glue or a hot glue gun. Maybe easier. If you don't have any of those options, then you may just try to put things on the paper without moving things until you fill up your drawing and then take a picture before you knock everything off. Well, that's all I have for you. Hopefully I can show this to you in its finished stage. But for now, have a great time creating and have a fun time looking for this stuff out in nature. Bye. Have a good night.